Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. It's great to see you. Today on the show, we have Justin Samuels, the one and only Thug Debugger. Justin, thanks for joining us, man.
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing today?
It's great to see you. I wish we were talking under better circumstances, but things are a little rough out there right now, right? And you've been doing some just really amazing community work, and I wanted to bring you on and talk about that today. So do you want to maybe give a little background on yourself, but also talk about the project?
Yeah, sure. And thanks again for having me, Jason. I absolutely always watch your show and everything, so it's finally great to actually be on the show. I am the infamous Thug Debugger, as everybody calls me on Twitter. And I'm a senior engineer at MailChimp down here in ATL. I'm also the conference organizer and founder for Render ATL and Streaming Color. So I do a whole lot in the dev community to keep us all binded together all the time. With that being said, with the current protesting and the current, I want to say, with the current state of everything involving like police brutality and how things just aren't getting better, I started to notice that a whole lot of Black-owned businesses were getting hurt
Mm-hmm.
just by being a victim of a circumstance all the time.
Yeah.
They're just in the like wrong place at the wrong time. And honestly, you can't move your whole business like you could move a person out of the way. So
Mm-hmm.
I started to like think, well, how do we help these Black-owned businesses get what they need so that they could thrive and survive? And the thing that I thought about was, what if we build a database that has all these Black-owned businesses that were hurt during the actual protest that just need a couple dollars here and there from the whole entire world to like get back on their feet? And then that's where honestly rebuildblackbusiness.com came from. It
Mm-hmm.
was just I just drew together a quick site using the MailChimp CMS. Built it in like an hour, drew it up there, and I thought maybe a couple hundred people might go to it, but we
Mm.
ended up getting about 1,500 in the first day.
Dang.
So like it like completely blew my mind. So then I was like, well, I'll put out a cry for help saying, hey, if you want to be involved, come and join us on this like Discord.
Mm-hmm.
I just started to use Discord. I used to be a hardcore Slack guy, but shout out to my boy Adam. He is the one that showed me that how much better Discord is, because you could do stuff like create like roles and everything. And I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
great. I could actually build an org out in here so that if I put out this like a rallying cry, people will come join, and then we could get them into like a segmented role so that then they could be most effective.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like literally over a night, about 200 people joined, and then just kept getting bigger and getting bigger. And I think we're about to pass the 500 mark now. So if I were to like quantify that, that's probably about 300 and change engineers, about 100 on the design team, and about 50 to 100 on the business team, and
Yeah.
the whole entire gamut. So yeah.
Thanks for the raid, Full Stack Live. I appreciate it. Um, yeah. So today, like, and this is where I think, the community comes in, where everybody who's watching the stream right now can come in, is the rallying cry that you sounded. You created the Discord, and that's all leading toward the GitHub project, Rebuild Black Business. There's a new website in the works, and
Right.
the project that's being built, there are so many volunteers in there, but there's so much work to be done, right? And what we're seeing is like there are a ton of tickets, a lot of things that need to get picked up and created, for everything from UI work to data integrations to design work to just thinking through the business side of things. And
Right.
that's what's so exciting about this is like we now have the ability to pitch in and make, we can leverage these skills that we have to make a tangible
Exactly.
difference. And
Exactly.
I know that like something, because like I've been donating, and I would encourage everybody to donate. If you've got the means, like throw some money in. It makes a difference. Contribute to bail funds, contribute to the Black Lives Matter Fund, to the ACLU, to other projects that are out there fighting for civil liberties and for basic human rights.
Mhm.
But I felt like I want to do more, uh, but I'm also like pretty nervous about the COVID-19 stuff, so I don't want to go into big crowds right now. And so I'm kind of
Right.
like, all right, so what can I actually do?
Exactly.
Um,
And like that's the thing is like the other day I was on this a media bit, right? And the person that was interviewing me, they made a comment which I like chuckled at because they had told me this is like a nerd's version of protesting. And I'm like, yeah, this is a nerd's version of protesting because they were like, this is actually pretty genius because y'all aren't on the front lines per se visibly, but we could still feel and we could still see the potential impact that y'all are all gonna make. And then I started telling them about how we got people from across the whole globe joining. Like there's this one young lady named is Alexical. She's been like leading a huge charge on like our back end, but she's from the UK, and she just like popped up. So when I was telling them about this, they were like, "Yeah, like it's a whole bunch of nerds got together, and y'all are like building a complete project out that's gonna help impact the lives of black-owned businesses.
yeah.
Like where else can you like do that at? So
Yeah, it's a really cool thing to see, and I've loved to see the community get involved. And so that's what we're gonna do for the rest of the show. I know you've got a million things to do, so I don't want to keep you all
no,
day.
man, you're fine.
Um, but so what I'm gonna do is I'll let you get back to it. I know you got a million things going on. I'm gonna spend the rest of this stream working on some open source issues. And so I'll walk through the GitHub process. We're gonna pick up some issues. We'll actually pull down the project, get it running locally, and then we're going to go hopefully all the way through opening a pull request. And if I can, I've got the Discord as well, so I can hopefully nudge the team, and we can try to get pull request reviews on the stream so that we can walk through the process of like, what do you do when you get a pull request review on an open source
Right.
project? Um,
Right.
so yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be really good. I would love to see anybody who has a chance, if you've got some spare time. It's the thing. If you can get out there and do something in the, get into the streets, go protest. If you can't get in the streets, donate. If you can't donate, spend some time, like kick in on a project. And there are a million things to do from docs to code to design to organization to, I mean, everything. There's so many things you can do to get involved and help out online. So if you don't have the means to help out otherwise, this is a great way to use your time. And that's really one of the most valuable resources, especially when you're looking at a project of this magnitude. So, Justin, is there anything that you want to, say before you get back to it?
Oh no, man! I think you actually covered everything. Oh my God! Yeah. No. I just want to touch on like what you just had like said was a project of this like magnitude. Like it
Mhm.
kind of blew my mind when everybody was like getting in, and it honestly like humbled me even like more because usually when you're doing projects where
Mm.
you're gonna count on volunteers, usually it's one or two people really like dedicating their time, and then everybody else is kind of in there, but they actually aren't. But this is the very first project I could honestly say where everybody that's a volunteer has been like complete, like going all out at all times. Now that's
Yeah.
not to say that I haven't worked with great volunteers, but I'm talking about at the scale of over 300 people just constantly in the Discord. Like it's at a point where when people ask me, what do you like y'all need help with? I'm like, I can't even tell you because like that's why I appointed team leaders to be like, hey, you're in charge of this team, you're in charge of that team, so that all I have to really do is just move all of the like bigger pieces on the board for them at all
Mm-hmm.
times and keep them like going.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been like mind blowing working with over 300 people. I mean, it honestly is a small company we've done built in under, I think this is day number 6 that we all came
It's been
together.
real fast. Yeah.
Yeah, we built a small company in only like 6 days. And just the other thing to touch on too is like people always ask me like, why don't like why hasn't anybody else like done this? It doesn't seem too difficult. It's just a database of like black owned businesses. It's a database of resources to help these black owned businesses. It's a database of people that's going to help these black owned businesses. It's just a database with a view on it. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's true. But think about how much this costs. So if I were to quantify everybody on a team's salary
Mm-hmm.
and like actually like break down how many hours they're putting in and the time and everything, we're easily past $100,000 worth of like time
Mm-hmm.
if we were to quantify the whole thing. And a lot of people don't have 100 grand just to to run a project. And that's the honest reason why something like this hasn't been out there yet. So I'm extremely grateful for the team that we have and everybody that's like, doing their part. And just to touch on what you said, if you like want to join, you don't have to be a hardcore, a programmer. You don't even have to really program. I mean, we have a role for every single person, even if that's like writing documentation, if that's helping go over the actual media kit that's about to be coming out,
Mm-hmm.
anything at all, we just need help in.
Yeah.
So this is my like a rally cry, basically. Come join the Discord. No task is too small, and the whole entire like leadership is like great. We will all like welcome you with open arms. We have a complete onboarding process. So,
Mm-hmm.
what you saw, Jason, like when you join, you get to choose the job that you want to do, and we give you the documentation. We give you everything that you need to do any kind of I mean, to do any kind of role that you would like to do.
Yeah.
So it's extremely like a fluid. And if you feel like there isn't something that like meets your needs or that you're can do, just ask and we will find you something to do. So you have a chance to be a part of this.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm so excited to do it. And thank you, by the way, to Left Feet Geek and Ryan Warnacos for the subs. I really appreciate it.
But dope.
Justin, I think with this, I think I'm ready to get in. I wanna start writing some code. So I'm gonna let you get back to
Cool.
it. Thank you so much for coming on, telling us about the project. I'm really, really excited to get involved. I hope everybody who's watching is excited to get involved. If
Thank you.
Dom, I see you in the chat. Do you mind dropping a link to the repo for anybody who wants to get involved if they like to the getting started page? Um,
And if anybody want to hit the like Discord, just go to join.rebuildblackbusiness.com. That's
join.
all you gotta do.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
yeah. So let me drop that link too in the chat. Let's see, join.rebuildblackbusiness.com.
Yep.
All
If
right,
you
that's
go
in the
there,
chat.
it'll take you there. Yep. There you go.
Awesome. All right,
All right,
y'all.
bro. I'll holler
Thank you
at
so
y'all.
much. Yeah, we'll see you soon. And I'm gonna switch over into desktop view. All right. Cool. Okay, and so a quick shout out before we get started. Let me zoom out a little bit because I am a little too close faced there. A quick shout out before we get started. We've got live captioning today at lwj.dev/live. That is the amazing work of White Coat Captioning. We've got Kelly on the call today. Thank you so much. And let me make sure this is muted. Okay. Yep. So you can see here the live captioning is happening. And if you want to watch along and read along, it's here. That is made possible by our sponsors. We've got Netlify, we've got Fauna, we've got Sanity, and new this week, we've got Auth0. So thank you so much to these companies for helping us out. They make live captioning possible, and they help make this show more accessible to everybody. Really, really appreciate that. With that being said, let's dive into the code. So I want to go and look. I'm going to go to my GitHub page, and so the first thing here is I'm going to do something that I don't usually do, which is I'm going to pull over Discord. And so this is the Rebuild Black Business Discord, and you can see here that this is a really active chat. So they've got, you know, back end, front end development. I'm in here as a developer, so my Discord looks differently than yours will if you're a designer or anything like that. So this is where a lot of the coordination is happening. As you can see, like even as we're watching, there's a lot of discussion happening right now, and people are actively working on things. They're actively doing work. What's up, Chris? So this is kind of where the coordination in the hub is starting. So from here, where we want to end up at is at the Rebuild Black Business. See if I can type that. Nope, that's the wrong one. What is it? Ah, crap. I got to look this up. It's in here somewhere. I'm going to search for GitHub. And where did it go? Somebody's got a pull request review. Here we go. So this is the organization, right? So let's you can go check that out. And then this is where we're going to work today, is the RBB website. So let me full screen this. Is this big enough to read? I think, yeah. So what I want to do is, like, if I'm coming in fresh, I'm a developer. I've never contributed to open source before. Where should I start? Like, what's the best thing to do? So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at the README. And on a lot of projects, especially projects that are friendly to open source contributors, you're going to see a contributing section like this, right? And it says, you know, hey, contributions are welcome. And then it says what to do, and go check the issues page. So if we look at how we can get involved, we can see now that we can go to the Discord community. We've already got that open. This sorting hat channel, this is actually great. This is what Justin was talking about when he said role-based community controls in Discord. And this really is a very cool feature. So you're going to look at a message, and then you'll react with an emote that says, like, you know, oh, I'm a developer, I'm a designer, I'm whatever. And it's going to pop you into a set of channels, which is really, really cool. So then it looks like here we're actually tracking things in Trello. So we can pop that open and take a look. So here's the Trello board, and we can see this is hopping. There's a lot going on in here. It looks like the to-do channel, to-do doing QA, all cool. So then in here, there's some information about how we do things like branch names. And this is really cool, right? So for the Discord, to anybody who's asking, we're looking, yeah, thank you so much, Justin, for sharing that. Join.rebuildblackbusiness.com. So now we're looking at, like, we've got branch name conventions, how we're going to send pull requests, terminology, tech details, things like that. And this is good news for me. The site's built in Gatsby. I know Gatsby. I don't know Chakra UI, so this could get interesting, but, you know, we'll figure it out. The data's coming out of Airtable. Airtable is cool. If you're interested, there are episodes of Learn with Jason on Gatsby, on Airtable, if you want to get familiar with those. There's also just a ton of great content on it out there. So then, let's see. Get access to the data. We need to do that. I might need to go get an Airtable key. We'll figure out how that works. And then we need to install the repo. So let's go into, let's maybe not do that right now. So I'm going to take this over here, and let's get into this folder here. So I'm in Learn with Jason, and then I'm going to fork the repo. Now I think I already forked the repo. So let's, am I not signed in? Okay, I'm going to sign in real quick and get this off screen. All right, and then I'm going to go to GitHub. And let's grab those details. All right. Never be easy for me. I always end up, I mean, like, I love two-factor authentication. It's very, very important. However, it is a pain in the butt when you're trying to do something fast. Let's see, that just changed on me. So we're gonna go here, get in. All right, now I'm logged in. So I'm gonna fork this repo. I've already forked it. So let's open that over here. And then I'm gonna go back down to the install. And I need to git clone my fork. And a nice way to do that is you can actually just copy it like this. So I just went to the cloner download, and then it gives me the URL that I need. So I just click this button to copy. So then I'm going to say git clone. And if I look now, I have the RBB website, so I can go right into it. And we can see here that all of the data that I need is in it. So then let's go look again at, I think I might need to update too, because let's see. So I'm going to look at where I'm hooked up to. Okay, so I'm hooked up to the RBB website. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to add a new remote, and I'm going to add upstream, and I'm going to make that one git at github.com, and then we'll make this one the rebuild black business repo, because what I want is I want to be able to pull the latest changes, because this is important, right? So what I want to do is I want to git pull upstream master to get everything that's been done since the last time that I updated the code. And you can see like a lot just changed here, right? We've had so much activity in this website since the last time that I made my fork. And then I can push to upstream, or to origin master. And origin is my repo. So this is a pretty standard workflow for open source. Magnificode, yeah. We'll definitely do that. So what I'm going to do now is, now that I've pulled, I'm going to run an npm install, and we're going to get everything set up here. And now, oh yeah, the upstream command. So what I did, let's see, let me just go. Well, I'll wait a second here. We'll get the install here. But so to talk about what I'm doing, so when you're doing Git development, especially when you're working on multiple projects, the idea is that like there's a central source of truth, and that's going to be the Rebuild Black Business organization. I pulled a copy of that repository, which now means that it's not getting the changes from the main repo. So what I want to do whenever I'm making changes is I want to make sure that I've got all the latest stuff. And an easy way to do that is to create an additional remote that is tied to what I consider upstream changes. Like I think of it as like I've got my main repo, and then there's the upstream repo, which is where like the source of truth is. And once this finishes here, I'll make that work. But let's see here, almost done using Cypress. Love Cypress. We actually just had Dr. Gleb Blamatov on the show doing a lot of cool stuff with Cypress a couple weeks ago. So if you're interested in seeing more about how this works, there's a whole episode dedicated to that. All right, so got everything installed. So what I did to add that upstream is I'm adding a remote, and the way that Git remotes work is that's like another instance of this repository that lives somewhere else. I added a new one, and then I get to pick a name for it. So I gave it the name upstream because that's my mental model. You could call it whatever you wanted. And then I gave it the actual URL of that repo, and this is the Git URL. And so then anytime that I want to get changes, I can say git pull upstream master. And if anything has happened, it will pull those changes for me. And then if I push, and I'm going to set my upstream like default to origin master. And that -u, what this means is that I don't have to type the origin master anymore. I can just git push, right? And so now whenever I go to my fork, my fork now has all of the changes, and we can see like 15 hours ago, 1 hour ago, things are actually, you know, happening in here that that weren't there before. So we're lined up with the main repo. We can see here's the 1 hour ago, the 13 hours ago. So in doing that, I'm basically making sure that I'm not working on outdated code, and that's one of the biggest sources of frustration with open source, is like if I fork the repo and then I don't get around to it today, maybe I get to it in a week, but I forget to pull the upstream changes, I might make some changes and try to push them, and then I get a bunch of merge conflicts, and it's really confusing. And so this is a way to make sure that you avoid some heartache right before you're ready to do the changes. Pull from upstream and make sure that you've got the latest code. So so now I've actually got some code. So let's go look at these issues in the website, because that was what contributing said. It said check out the issues page, right? And that is this tab up here. So I'm going to click on this. And as you can see, because we knew I was going to do this on stream today, we assigned a couple issues to me to make sure that I had something to work on. So let's take a look at what we've got, and then we'll pick one that we can do as fast as possible. Let's see. So this one, when someone visits the allies page, they should be presented with a pop-up asking them to agree to the terms and conditions. The link is to be determined. Upon checking the checkbox, the modal will be closed and the ally feed will be rendered. We want to prevent easy scraping of user data, so in order to help cut down on that, we require folks to accept terms and conditions before they view the list. We need to ensure that no data is shown until terms and conditions have been clicked. Instead, behind this modal, we will show a grid of skeleton elements. Okay, that makes sense. If you haven't seen a skeleton component, that is like a placeholder. Facebook, I think, was one of the first websites to really popularize this pattern. LinkedIn uses it. It's now really popular, where instead of seeing the actual content, you see kind of like a rectangle in the shape of the content that will eventually load to look like that. So it's so that the UI looks, so the UI doesn't look broken. It looks like it's loading, which is a good thing. So we're going to use a skeleton component to show those cards. And then once the checkbox has been clicked, local storage should be used to ensure that the user does not have to accept the terms and conditions again. Okay, that's fine. The modal should close and the skeleton element should be rendered with real data. All right, so that makes sense. We can probably do that. Let's look at the other ones. A no results component. So when a user filters for businesses or allies and their filter yields no results, they should be presented with a component that contains a heading, paragraph, and Airtable form embed via iframe. Styling should be handled through the use of Chakra UI components, and theme variables should be used where possible for things like font styles, colors, and spacing. Okay, so it seems like, let's take a look at this. We're using Figma for design. If you are not familiar with Figma, I just had Ryan Warner Codes on the show recently to teach us all about it. It is really, really cool, really, really powerful. And I would highly recommend, if you are a developer, getting used to using Figma, because it's really incredible. Okay, so now we know what this one looks like. It looks like we've got I didn't look at the Figma mockup for the other one. Here's the mobile view, which is really, I love that this happened. Like, that's so nice. But yeah, so here we go. We've got, like, see, here's the allies. We've filtered, and when we filter and get nothing, so this is the component we're building, is the headline, the paragraph, and this form. Okay. And then there's one more registered here. So let's add a loading component when switching between pages. Because the amount of data we're presenting to users, we want to be sure that between perceived page loads, any component that has to fetch data should present a loading component. We're going to use a Chakra spinner. There it is. All right. So let's see. Did somebody take this already, or did it? It doesn't look like it's been done. So I think the plan is for me to take this. Or wait. I don't know. That's all me. Okay, it's all me. All right. So let's start here, because this is, Well, let's boot the site. Let's get the site running locally. I want to see what we need to do, so we can just kind of take a look. And so this is the way that I would work through one of these processes, right? Is I'm gonna think about how what's possible to be done. I looked at the issues. So we've got 3 possible things that we can tackle. And then I need to, let's see, where was our run? So here's our install. I already ran the install. So now we need environment variables. And so the way that I would typically do this is like, I'm going to figure out what's possible. Then I'm going to get the site running. And then I'm going to take a look at like what things do. So I'll look at the site itself, and then I'll start digging into the code to figure out where this stuff happens. And that'll give me a good idea of like how we can actually solve this problem. So I'm going to get access. Let's see, here's the dummy database. Okay, so I'm going to sign up for this Airtable link. I'm already an Airtable user. I think I can just sign in with Google. Let's see if it lets me do it. Oh, come on. Let's go to Google. One of these is there it is. All right. Yep. Okay. Here. All right. So then what do I do next? Let's see, we got I need to mute this. How do I make this stop making noise? Hush. I don't know. Maybe we'll just deal with it because that's where we are today. All right. So let's see. Upon clicking the above link, I get read-only access. Okay, that's good. That means that I can't go in here and like mess with stuff, right? Like I'm mashing buttons and nothing's happening. Then go to the API docs. All right. So this is a direct link. That is cool. And where that's going to take you is up here. You get your API documentation, but I'm going to click that link because that's awesome. So here's a link that takes us right in here, and it's going to show me my API key. So the next thing is, let's see, grab your API key. Here it is. Yeah. API documentation. And then I need to click show API key, and it's going to show me that. So I'm going to pull this off screen while I do that. So let me get my API key. All right, I've got it. And then I now need to start actually doing stuff. So let's open this up in a code editor. All right, there we go. Here's my .env.example. So I'm going to copy paste that, and we're going to rename it to .env. And now I have a plugin that'll hide this, so I can copy paste the Airtable API key. And then I need a base ID, which I guess maybe is in here. Let's find out. Settings page, API key, base ID. Dummy API database is here. All right. Oops. Ooh, there was default text in there. Let me make sure. Let me make sure that I actually, all right. So let's save that. All right. So I've got those. And then what else? Cloud name, rebuild black business. Let's add that. Okay. And then I've got the Netlify CLI, which is just the Netlify CLI. If you don't have that, you would install globally Netlify CLI like this. And because I do have it, I'm going to use the shorthand because I don't like letters. And let's run it. Let's see if we can get this thing operating. Overriding the following n variables with the .env file. Awesome. Oh, something went wrong. Okay, so let's take a look at what happened here. We used the .env file to override our environment variables, which is good. That's what we wanted. and then it started running the server, started running Gatsby, but Airtable didn't like it. Cannot query all Airtable businesses. Okay. So what do I need to do? You added a new data source. Gatsby Node.js. Let's figure out what went wrong. So what's happening here is that remove package lock. I'm listening. I'm listening, y'all. Okay, so let me just do that. Let's remove package lock. Let's remove node modules, and let's try again. Here we go. Well, the problem, Dom, isn't regular old Gatsby develop. The problem is that Gatsby develop was missing something in the Airtable setup, and so using Gatsby develop versus Netlify dev, there's functionally no difference because Netlify dev just runs Gatsby develop, but with serverless function support, right? So yeah, I plugged my API key. I showed you. Look, it's up here. Dom. Yeah, so I think we're just gonna start with the thing. No, I put the base name. So if I look in here, right, I've got my API key, and I'm using the value from the Airtable API that I grabbed, and then my base. So actually, you know what? There's a base ID in here. I'm gonna use that instead because I think it might be that I'm not sure if the docs are out of sync or anything, but I'm gonna swap out to the actual base ID that the docs show me. So let's see. Hey, thank you so much for the raid, Reserve 14. Let's see here. Yeah, the extension hides API keys. It's so that when I'm streaming, I don't accidentally show everybody my secrets, because the chat loves to steal my secrets because they're a bunch of hackers. This hack is called, or sorry, this extension is called, let me find it. It's called VS Code hide and variables cloak. So this is a good one if you want to make sure that you're not showing your environment variables. So it's really nice for that purpose, where it just kind of hides those values. See, I do have the read-only access. So if I go and I look, let me unshow my API key and I'll bring this back across. So here is my my Airtable, right? And I do have read-only access. And so if I go back to the base here, or it's here actually, I do have test access. So what I think is happening is I think I put the wrong base ID in, but I believe now everything is set up properly. So we'll find out. Let's run Netlify dev here. And there it goes. There it goes. I had the wrong base ID. So if you are wondering what I did, I went to my API docs, and so I checked this box and that showed my API key here, but then I used this as my base ID because this is actually what Airtable is giving me my API key for this data. So now we are doing open source contributions, and the intention here is what we want to do is we're contributing to rebuildblackbusiness.com, and we're walking through the process of getting set up on we reviewed some issues. We've got a few ideas for what we can do. We have we forked the repo, cloned it locally, and we're now just about done with getting it set up. I think if everything worked, we should be able to view it locally now. So let's take a look. Things are a little bit out of sync here, when you use Netlify Dev, you want to use this one. Gatsby kind of swaps out the order of things. It is very aggressive about its terminal. So all right, here we go. We've got the site running locally, and we're at localhost quadruple eights. And now we actually are able to click around. So let's take a look. Here's the about page. Here's our businesses. Okay, all good. We've got good stuff. Let's look at all businesses. All right, cool. So now we've got like, I don't know, let's go to, yeah, this is dope. This is really cool. So from here, what we want to do is let's see if we can come up with a search that gives us nothing. There we go. So here's our no results. And that means that in here, there is something that's like a placeholder component that's showing us our no results. So we need to style that up. And that's what we found here. So let's start by seeing if we can make that work. I'm going to see if I can find in the code here where that section is. So let's look at components. And then we've got maybe cards. No, maybe filters. Nope. Let's look at, it's going to be one of these, right? Like, let's see what's down here. An urgent need. Where do our results show up? Okay, so let's just start with the pages then. And we're going to look at our index. Okay, so what's this page called? It's called businesses. So let's look at how businesses gets created, because it's not in our pages. So it must be getting created in here. All right, so there it is. We have a template called businesses. Good. Let's take a look at that. So these are the businesses. Good. We've got some Cloudinary assets. I think Dom hooked that up, which is super cool. Thank you, Dom. And so now we've got, let's see. Here's the page hero. Good. Here's the business feed. Here's pagination. All right, so business feed looks like where we need to go. Let's go take a look at that. Business feed came out of components. Let's look in index. Business feed came out of feeds, business feed. Here's business feed. All right. So then result card, I have a feeling that's what we're looking for, is result card. So we do a filter, and then if the business's length is greater than 0, which means we've got a default case. Aha, here we go. Here's the thing that we need to build, right? So here is our actual component that we need to work on. And so if I wanted to do this as an open source developer, probably what I want to do is minimize the changes that I'm going to have to make throughout the site, right? Like the easiest way to get a PR accepted is to make the review easy. And the way to make the review easy is to focus down on as few things as possible. So if we want to do this, we can take a look at this component, right? So here we go. We've got this component. That means that we're going to be using our box. We're going to have a heading, a paragraph tag, and then this, I'm pretty sure, is, if we look at that issue again, let's go back to our issue. So here's our no results component. All right, and we know that's what we've been looking at. The Airtable form is embedded, so the placeholder. All right, use a placeholder. So that's just going to be. I mean, whatever. We can look at this. Maybe here. I can't change anything. We don't have any forms, right? So I can't actually do that. So I'll just put like a to-do tag in here. And so that means if we come back into our box, we can start thinking about what this should say. So let's take this and we'll say We probably want like a H2. Are there any H1s on this page? Let's look. This looks like an H1. Right now, because this is an H1, we don't want to do an additional one. So instead, we're going to do an H2. And we'll say, just pull the data right out. And let's say, sorry. Oh, we're going to make this, we're going to pull this out into its own component, I think. Let's scaffold it out here, but no businesses matched this search with a full stop. Then we're going to grab a period. And is it going to let me copy paste? It's not. So let's do this so that I can read. I'm going to say we'd love to have. Ooh, how's this part going to work? This is going to be interesting because what we need is we need to pull all the filters, right? And then show this, because what this is saying is this is basically like this person just searched for San Francisco, but you could also be searching for like, there's options here. So this could be saying like, we'd love to have health and wellness businesses in Denver. That might be more complex than we know what to do right now. So I might actually need to open a new issue specifically for like, how do we pull language out of the existing filters? So let's do this for now. I'm going to change this copy because it needs to be, copy needs to be dynamically generated based on filters. Let's see, have any businesses in that match your search. Right, so this is not perfect, but it's going to get the job done. Oh, it will allow you to copy paste in the code tab. Okay, how do I get you to just like leave me alone though if I don't want to do that right now? Let's see. Show me. I don't even have a code tab. How do I? Am I like missing a thing? Click the element. I can't click. I don't even have. I have no options. I'm view only. I wonder if this is because I'm not logged in. Let me try to log in. Okay, now I'm logged in. There we go. Now I've got the ability to okay. All right, that's way better. All right, Figma, you win this time. So yeah, so here we go. There's all the code or the text if we wanted to just copy paste it. So where I'm at is like, I want this to be, I don't have a way right now of determining, like, we need to talk to a team lead about this. Like, how should we build this text? Because like, if somebody doesn't put a zip code, but they put in urgent need, what's the right place to be? So the project, if you are interested in getting involved, is rebuildblackbusiness.com. There are a lot of open issues. There's a good onboarding doc in the README, and it would be awesome if you wanted to get involved. It's a great way to help out, especially if you're not in a position to, to donate to causes or get down to protests. This is a way to spend some time and try to make a difference, right? So let's start here, right? Like I'm gonna start with just some generics. Like, we don't have any businesses that match your search, and then I'm going to add a pre-tag. Let's see, we'll say embed Airtable form here. Okay. So now let's figure out how Shocker works, because the thing that I just did clearly doesn't look right. right? Even though I made this into a H2 and a paragraph tag, this is being rendered as a pre. But let's go take a look at it and figure out how it's supposed to work. So here's the chakra setup. So let's look at a box. The box component is useful because, oh nice, we can just set variables here, do some padding and stuff. Okay, that's good. Oh, and Magnificode says filter stuff is still in flight. So yeah, non-dynamic text, that's what we'll do. I can even open an issue related to this one to show like what's left. So let's dig in here. All right, so this box by default is exactly what you would expect. It's just a box, but it looks like it's a pretty flexible thing. So let's take a look at like, oh, here's, okay, so there's like an image component, multiple boxes. So I think a box is just a div from what I'm understanding. Like a box just renders a div and we can do whatever we want with it. So let's figure out where the, let's see here. Write a PR that tests this behavior. Absolutely write a PR to test this behavior. So let's do this here where we're gonna say no businesses match this search. So I don't want this to be a pre anymore. So I'm just gonna take that part out right now. And I need to, I'm gonna move this all the way to the front so I know where it is. Okay, so it's not a pre anymore, but our H2s, it looks like we've got a pretty aggressive reset here that took away all the styles, which is fine. That means that probably in here somewhere are some styles that we can use. So let's take a look at where everything is. We've got constants, that's probably not it. Gatsby plugin chakra. Okay, so we've got fonts, heading slab. Heading is Arvo, font sizes. Okay, breakpoints, icons, borders, colors. All right, so now we need to figure out which of these matches up to which thing. So let's go look at the Figma again, and let's just look at this. So we're looking for whatever the equivalent of E8 is, which we don't have. Let's see here. So if we don't have that color, maybe what I can do is something like, well, maybe what's theme colors? Where does theme come from? Theme comes from Chakra UI core. I don't know what that is. So E8 is pretty light. So maybe we just pick a color that's pretty light and stay on brand here. This gray is going to be too dark, but let's make sure that we even understand how this works. So what I think will happen is when I go into this business feed and I set BG equals, what was it? Was it just gray? Oh boy, I've lost my place. Here we go. RBB gray. Okay, let me keep that open. Go RBB gray. And then if I go look at this, what happened? There's, okay, so that's there. That's not right. So I'm actually just going to add a color because this is, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right naming. Somebody might catch that in PR review. We'll see how it goes. But here's the actual color that we need. So then I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to update that light gray. And I need to get our no results page. So I'm just doing that by selecting something that that doesn't have any results. So now we've got the right color. So let's figure out how to do our headings. So if I look up here at our H1, which is maybe not in this component. All right, let's go look at another page to see how headings get handled. Let's look at about. There's a flex. There's a heading component. All right, so we need to do this, which means we've got heading coming in from the Chakra UI core. All right. So here's that. I'm just going to pull it in, heading. All right. And then down here, we will say this is actually a heading. And then how did that get sized? Where did theme come from? That comes out of the use theme hook. Okay. So I set my size is XL. My guess is we don't want XL. So let's look at how big the about page is. About. All right. How big is this one? This is font size is like 40. So where's our theme? Where was our sizes? Font sizes. Here we go. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but let's use large. Large seems right. So let's try that out. We're gonna go size. Whoops. Just this one. Size equals large. Oh, look at that. Wait. Is it reading our? It's not reading. That's like built in because we've got a 3XL that didn't get picked up. So that was almost awesome. Now it's probably more confusing than awesome, but that's okay. So then I'm gonna pull in this I'm just gonna copy paste this part. This font family heading slab. All right, let's do it. And then let's take a look at what we built. Here's our businesses. Let's get a no result. Hey, that's better. That's closer. Okay, it looks like we need to make it even a little bit smaller. If I pull this over here, and then I'm gonna hide the UI actually, so we can kind of side by side this a little bit. We've got, it looks like it needs to be heavier, and it looks like it needs to be, well, maybe that size is okay actually. That's probably fine. Yeah, we'll keep that size. That's okay. What I am confused, oh no. I thought I'd added a color box to it, but I just had it selected. All right, cool. So let's dive in here and see what we can do with centering and stuff. Now I feel like there's probably something that's just like done this. Because the way, so this is where it starts to get like tricky, right? Is because what I like, the way that I've handled these in the past is I would just write some inline styles. I would just like make it work. Slack, you gotta go. And so I would just throw some inline styles here, but that's, you know, we want to use the system, right? So let's look and see if there are settings for like centered or all caps or things like that. We've got line spacings, buttons. I'm not gonna lie, I started with businesses because I just saw that there was like a no results thing, and now I'm just kind of adding stuff in, right? So we've got links, footers. All right, I don't see anything about specific styling. Is there any like pre-existing art on this? How people are doing custom styles? Let's look at like a business card. Here's a result card. Food and beverage, all good. All right, so what happens down here? Like how is stuff getting styled? Just setting like straight borders and stuff like that. Okay. So then maybe all I need to do is look up what Chakra calls font centering. Align items, that's not it. Is it just like, this just looks like camel cased CSS. So let's start with that and see what happens. I'm going to go to business feed and I'm going to say we want this to be like text align center and text transform uppercase. You going to do what I want? There it is. All right, cool. So then our box, we need some padding, and our padding is what? This is a feature I love of Figma is I'm holding Alt and it just shows me how far away stuff is. So it looks like we've got a padding of like 55-ish on the left and right, and 40 at the top and bottom. So I believe, let's see if the theme includes those types of spacings. Spacing, font sizes, containers, spacing. All right, so let's use the medium spacing. That's probably a good starting point. So let's go into business feed, and I'm gonna say padding medium. Does that work? Apparently that doesn't work. So those aren't going to work for us. What about like padding stuff? I'd like to use the grid if I can, if one exists. If it doesn't, then I'm not going to worry about it. I don't see anything, but let's see here. I don't know. Let's just go in and let's just pick a number. I'm going to say 1.5 REM. Hey, that looks good. All right, so then I'm going to do 2 REM on the sides. All right, that looks closer. That looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. And this is kind of responsive by default, which I dig. So let's also do the same thing for our paragraph. Figure out how that's being done in here. Let's look for another page that we can model off of. Here's an allies page, index page, just text. Is it just text? Here we go, text. Yeah, all right, cool. So then I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna grab the text element out of Chakra UI. And down here, we're gonna change this from a paragraph to text. Oh, broke it. Let's do that. And then I'm gonna say text align the center. Cool, I'm into it. This line height seems wrong, because if we look at the mock-up, see how that's a little bit tighter? So I wonder if in our theme, we've got any line heights. Well, that's not really what I was looking for. So I'm just gonna fix it. We can catch it in code review. All right, this is gonna be my mantra today. Just catch it in code review. So there we go. That's I set the line height to like 1.1. That looks a little closer to this, maybe a little bit higher, 1.2. There we go. So it's like 1.2 times the size of the text is what that means. So then how much spacing do we have between? We got pretty decent spacing here, 32. So let's add like a margin top. Margin top of 1.5 REM. Good. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll just do it this way. We'll just do like a 1.5 REM 0. And then that way we've got no margins on this one, and we don't have to put any margins on the form, and this will handle the correct spacing between the form and the heading for us. I'm gonna leave this completely unstyled because we're not going to do anything with it. Like the styling will get completely blown away here. So let's get this in. Right, this looks good. I'm happy. I think I'm happy with this. This seems good. So let's get this thing abstracted out. So what I want to do now is I'm going to create a. Let's see, we've got cards. I'm going to make this a card. No results card. All right, so then I'm going to import React from React, and no results card equals, we're gonna have to give it some props, but for now, let's just get what we need in here. Cool. All right. And so we need to pull in now some of the stuff that we didn't have from Chakra. So let's just going to copy this whole line, get that in here. And then we're not using simple grid. We're not using, oh, we are going to use the theme. Actually, we're going to need that theme. So let's grab that theme. It's down here somewhere. I saw it. Here it is. So I'm going to grab this theme, drop that in here. And so now we've got access to the theme, which we're using to grab the heading fonts. So then I want to, am I missing anything else? We've got our heading, we've got our text, we've got our theme. All right. Just to double check that I don't need anything else here. No, we're all good. All right. So then what I want to do is I want to grab out the type, because what I want to do is actually show the type so that we can use this between the businesses and the allies. And then we're probably going to need like a form input. Form embed ID component something. Because what I'm thinking here is if the form is different for an ally versus a business, then we would need a way to pass that in. And like maybe the way maybe the way we do that is we make this form into a child. Ooh. Nah, I'm overcomplicating things. Let's not do that. So that is definitely an option if the form ends up kind of complex. But like if it's just an iframe, let's just drop the iframe in. Let's not overthink this. Hey, thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it. So let's then get, businesses and allies. All right. Is that not going to wrap for me? That's super annoying. Let's just have this like wrap a little bit so that it's legible. Okay. So I'm going to create some space so that we can see what's going on here. But then we can add in this type, and that means when I export this as my default component, no results card, what should be happening is now I've taken all of this complexity that I just added, and now my feed up here isn't going to use this anymore, right? So what I'm doing is I'm minimizing the number of like the number of things that are being loaded. Oh wait, where did this result card come from? Why isn't that in cards? I'm confused. I'm gonna keep it in cards because that seems like something that should be in cards. So then I'm gonna call this no results card, right? And then now, instead of having to do all of this extra code up here, I can drop this whole thing out and I can say no results card, and we'll say type equals businesses, right? And so now I broke it. Oh, I forgot to close the component. All right, is it still gonna break on me? I might have gotten a path wrong there. No, there it goes. Okay, so now our businesses are set up like this, and that means that I can go into this ally feed and I can do the same thing. So let's go look at this, find our no results. All right, so we've got our no results card, and type is gonna be allies, okay? And then I just need to, up here, no results card. Okay, so I want to point out something because it's really like, I really want to fix it right now. I am not going to move that result card because it's not related to the work that I'm doing right now. As easy as it would be for me to just put this in and go fix those paths, I would open that as a separate PR. And the reason that I would do that is that if I start getting too many things in my pull request, like here's a great example actually. There might be a really good reason that this isn't in the cards that I'm not aware of. And if I do that, so I'm going to do this no results card, and then I also make this result card move, and like the maintainers want half of my PR, but not the other half. If I just made these into 2 PRs, then they could reject the one that they don't want, and they could accept the one that they want. If I combine them into 2 things, then this is going to be really, like, this is really complex, right? Like we've now complicated things. And if part of my PR isn't desired, like one of the 2 things that I fixed isn't desired, I have to go and back out part of my code, and we've got to do all this additional review. So make your PR small. Like a PR should solve 1 problem. If you want to solve 2 problems, open 2 PRs, and that's going to make it much easier to get your reviews. It's going to make it much easier to get things merged, and it's way easier to handle the feedback process. So I broke something. Can't resolve card, no results card. That's a lie. That's a lie. Oh, it's cards. Okay. Wait, cards, no result. Wait, where? Components, feeds. Cards, no results card. What are you trying to do to me right now? In businesses? Did I get that wrong? Cards. Wait, how on earth did that work before? Okay, so here's our businesses. All right, so now we've got no businesses match this search. Now I'm going to go to allies, and let's do the same thing. I'm gonna do a search. Oh wait, are these all? Whoa. How do I get a? Can I like? Is this a no result? What is causing, if all allies length is greater than 0, otherwise show the no results card. So let's hard refresh. Something's up. Let's dump all allies. This is one of my favorite. I'll just JSON stringify, and we'll dump all allies. And then we'll do null2, so it's a little easier to read. And let's take a look at what just came out. So it's still pulling information. Oh, you know what it is? This is a pretty simple bug, actually. It's just allies. There we go. So we need to figure out why pagination is showing up, even though we don't have it. But so cool. That's fine. So all allies is like the full list. Allies is the filtered list. So that was just that was a simple typo. So we've got that fixed. Now we are looking at our no results card, and we can see that our text is like sort of dynamic. It shows at least the right group. But we didn't have to write any extra code. We just had to embed that comment. So at this point, I think we're ready to rock, right? I think we can just show. Let's walk through the process of committing this, right? Let's open our first pull request. So I'm going to take a look. So this is an alias that I use that shows me the git status, and I think it's git status SB. Yeah, and I just have that alias to S, and that shows me that this has been modified. Like that's what the M is for. And then this is untracked. So this is the card that I created, and this isn't in Git at all. These are the files that I touched. And this is important because we can also, if we go to look, like let me run a git diff, and I can show, oh boy, we don't want to look at the package lock. Let's get that out of here. Get out, go. All right. Jeez, there's so much of it. All right. So then we've got here, we can see what we actually changed. So that's the end of the package lock. Now we're into the ally feed. And all we changed was this. We're bringing in that no results card. We fixed that typo, and we dropped in our no results card. Okay, great. Happy with that. Then in the business feed, we import the no results card. We drop in the no results card. Definitely happy with that. We had to create this light gray to match the design. Cool, we're happy. I'm happy. So let's git add everything. Good. Then I'm going to get, oh wait. I don't want to commit that package lock because I don't think that, I feel like that's going to cause more problems than it should. So let's git add source. And now I can see that like I don't have this package lock is not updated, but these ones are. The A means that I've added it, and the green M means that it's modified and now ready for committing. So I'm going to commit. Oh, whoa. I'm on the wrong branch, right? Now, if we remember, no, that's not the right one. Let's go back out here and let's look at the process for committing, because there was a whole branching convention. So branch name convention, I should call this feature and task description. So let me git checkout. I want a new branch, so I'm going to type -B for a new branch, and I'm going to do feature, and we'll say no results card. Cool. All right, so then now I'm ready to actually commit this. So let's git commit -M for a message, or actually no, we're about to use Vim, everybody. Strap in. Here we go. All right, so I want to type feature, and I'm going to say added a no results card for businesses and allies. And then down in the body, what I want to say is, or, you know, we're not going to worry about that in the commit. We'll worry about that in the pull request. So let me save that. Good. Then I'm going to git push origin. Now this is my remote, not the upstream. And then I'm going to push the name of the branch. Okay. So then that goes up. It's now up on my own repo up here, right? And so I'm going to go to my repo, which is over here. I'm going to reload the page. And you see how it shows up here and it says I can compare and pull requests. So I'm going to click that button. Great. So now it's saying the base repository is the Rebuild Black Business organization. And I want to send my change, this arrow, let's see if it'll, if I zoom out a little bit, does it help? No, it's not going to. Okay. This is like, it's tricky because it's hard to visually describe what's happening, but we're sending this repo into, like, through this arrow into this branch. So we're basically saying, I would like to make these changes to your code. So let's see, this adds a no results card for the businesses and allies search. It's not related to, but it does fix. Let's see if we get autocomplete. No results. There it is. So this is really exciting because what happens is I hit add no results component, and then this means that it's going to be referenced on the issue, which is really, really nice. So then let's see, pages, interfaces that will change. Let's go do the work to make sure that shows up properly. So this is going to affect allies. Not that one. Here, let me move this over. So I'm just going to make a list. It's going to fix, or it's going to address allies. It's going to address businesses. Okay. And then I need to make screenshots, which means I need to start running let's run the server again. So netlify dev. Screen recording. I don't really want to do a screen recording because this is not, this isn't like a moving piece. There's no interactivity to it. There's just the result. So let's get our no results. Okay, I'm using Command-Shift-5 to do a screenshot of the whole page. Let's do the same thing on the allies page. Okay. And then I can just drop these right in from my screenshots folder. business, search for something that doesn't exist. You'll see the no results card. Okay. No additional notes. All right. Preview this. There we go. All right, I'm ready. Let's do this. I'm gonna submit this pull request. And so now we have opened a pull request, and we can see that it'll show us what files were changed. Good, good. We can see everything happening here, right? This is all what we wanted. And then when we go out to the conversation, we can see that it's already requested review from Magnificode, Raysdale, and Dom, who I think some of them are on. Did I include tests? I absolutely did not include tests. I'm not even sure how to include tests for, like, this is something I'm always curious about, is like, I guess if the dummy data is not going to change, then we could potentially add a test for this and say, like, that's not what I want. Let's add a Cypress test. So the Cypress test that I want to add, if I can find it, here's our Cypress test. I'm going to say navigation. Let's add one. Why not? Let's add a search or filtering.test.js. And then inside of this, I'm going what? Oh, currently tests are failing. Oh, did you already do a test, Jake? Oh, dig that. Awesome. All right, so Jake already added the test, so I'm just going to skip this part. My favorite kind of coding is the coding that I don't have to do myself. So, all right, so this is ready, I think. And now we've got the deploy is running. Looks like it's published. Let's look at this deploy preview. Good. All right, let's go out here and let's make a, what? Oh, this isn't my deploy preview though. This is my, where am I? Review. Oh, it's pending review. So it needs to be approved. And that's okay. Awesome. Thank you, Jake. Let's take a look at this. So let's look at how we would have written this test. So we would have Cypress visit the businesses page. Then it checks, it grabs the filter, chooses the first item, grabs the type, chooses the first item, grabs a location, and then types something, location San Francisco, and then presses enter. Then it's going to check for a heading, and it's going to find that it doesn't have any. Oh, do you need me to add this? All right, so I'm going to add these real quick. So these are for Cypress to make it easier for Cypress to find things. So let's go back and just add that real quick. We'll go into the no results card, and I'm going to say that we want a data test ID of, what was it? Heading and subheading. Heading, and then we'll do another one down here of data test ID subheading. All right. So then by adding these, what this means is that Cypress can just look for this, and it doesn't matter what happens with the rest of the code. So we're not doing a test for a specific element. We're not doing a test for specific styling. We're not doing a test for like the implementation details. We're just looking to see if it exists, right? And so I think the important thing, I would personally probably not search for this so much as I would just search for it to exist. But there are a million ways that you can do it. Like this. Yeah, so this test is actually going to fail because it's looking for a location, but we don't have that. Well, we'll get there. But for now, this will let us do quite a bit. So let me just git commit source components cards, no result card, and our message will be test add test IDs. All right, and then I'm going to git push origin feature no results card. And this is what's really nice. Now I've made a change locally and I just pushed it to my own GitHub branch, but check this out. So my change is going to show up right here on the pull request. Like it already hit. Let me see what happened here. Spacing variables. Let's fix these. Theme spacing base, theme spacing large. Oh, that's cool. All right, let's fix that. So let's go in and do that. So instead of using these, I'm going to use theme spacing base and theme spacing large. All right. And then what did I want to do down here? Same spacing var here. Wait, how would I do it? I guess it would be like margin top. Does Shocker have the idea of like X and Y? Let's find out. I want to look at style props. I want to look at margin and padding. Theme space 2. So we've got margin top and margin bottom. Do we have margin X and margin Y? I do. Yes, that's what I want. I'm going to use MY. Okay. Happy with that. All right, let's see what else was in the review. Wait, where did my PR go? Here we go. All right. Fix the bug. Excellent. All right, let's fix it. So now that we've got those, let me run this real quick and just make sure that I didn't break anything by doing that. Just the base variable for that margin. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Let's get this out of here then. So, oh, I get it. Because what would have happened is the array is like at smaller sizes, whatever the breakpoints are, which we can probably find those in here. Let's look. Breakpoints. So these are our breakpoints. So when it gets wider so when it's below 16, it'll be whatever the first value in the array is. When it gets to 48 wide, then it'll go to the second value, and it just keeps whatever the last one is as it gets bigger and bigger. So that's a way to kind of do responsive design very quickly, which is what's happening here. We're saying when it's really small, use base. When it gets big, use large. Cool, happy. So let's take a look and make sure that all worked as expected. So let's make a search. We'll get nothing. All right, there's our big amount. Let's make the window smaller. And we should see, I think it all just popped bigger. Yeah. Cool. All right, I'm happy. So let's take that and we will do our code review. So I'm going to do git commit source components. Yep. Message is fix use theme variables or use theme spacing. Cool. Let's push. And now, if we look at this, we've got the test IDs, we've got theme spacing. This thing is running. It is out of date with the base branch. So let's find out what happens when I update it. Show me potato salad. Okay, I think that worked. Like I think that just pulled the changes without any. Yeah, I just did a merge. Let's see what happened in the merge. What's been done since we were on the call today? Oh, it doesn't. Doesn't, no changes to show. I don't know, something happened. Wasn't involved with our code. So that's all good. But I think this is it, right? Like we're there. And like right on time. We're at 90 minutes. So while we're waiting for this deploy preview to finish, Magnificode's gonna merge and once this is done. So while we're waiting for that, let's take a look at what's on the rest of the schedule here. We're not going to do a stream on Thursday, or if we do, it'll be a solo stream of some sort. But next week, we're back. We're going to do user-generated content in Sanity. I'm really excited about this. Sanity is a very powerful headless CMS option. It's free. It has a pretty generous free tier, and it works as a pretty powerful like database content management system. If you need to store data and you're doing that in a site, this is a great way to get started. I also have Nathaniel Kenwa back on the show. He's been on before. We did some video calling stuff. It was super fun. But what I want to do this time is something that I saw on a Twilio game show. I want to enable text to vote functionality, and I want it to show up on the stream. So if you've played any of the games on the stream, we've got things like we can do like, hey, look at this little flappy Jason, right? Or like you can grow my beard to like long proportions until it goes rainbow, right? This is something that Cassidy and I built. And something that I would really love to do is I would love to incorporate a like voting feature. And so we could do that through chat commands, and I think that's really fun. But why not do it through, let's do it through Twilio. Like you can text a vote and that'll actually get counted. And so that's what we're going to do next week. It's going to be really fun. We've got all sorts of good stuff. Charlie and I, we had some issues with the robots last time, but we got those robots under control. So we're going to come back. We're going to do some mind-controlled apps. Joel and I are going to do Secret Sandwich. I've got people that I haven't had a chance to add to the show yet. Christian Nwamba, Shruti Kapoor. It's going to be such a good time. Like we're going to have an absolutely amazing time on this show. So please, if you haven't already, you can add the show to your calendar. And this will let you know when upcoming episodes are there. It automatically updates, so you can do it once, and it'll always show you when a show is coming, who's on, all the details. You can also find details at the schedule on the site. That's right, drop those boops. And then we have all the past episodes on learnwithjason.dev. So we've got all sorts of fun stuff happening, lots of good stuff coming up on the show. Thank you so much for coming out. Again, shout out to our sponsors and to White Coat Captioning. So we have Netlify, Fauna, Sanity, and Auth0 all pitching in to make live captioning possible on the show. It's so helpful. It means a lot to me that people are willing to do that. So thank you so much to all of our sponsors and to White Coat Captioning for doing the captioning today. And I believe we are we ready? Are we good to go? Is it time? Yes, get those corgis going. Where is that? Oh, we're almost there. All right. I really want to see this thing finish, but I don't know if we've got, let me see, where's our deploy at? Let's take a look. Post-processing, site is live. Here we go. Site built, all good. Magnificode, if you want to do the honors. Look at that. All right, so this is the whole life cycle. We've done from going to the repo to getting it set up to reading the contribution guidelines. We picked up an issue, made the changes, pushed them up, did the code review process, and now the pull request is merged. I'm officially a contributor to this website, and so I would love to see so many more of you in the commits. Like, go out, fork the repo, get it checked out. You know, do something small. There's a lot of great issues here. You know, there's a lot that can be done. Get into the Discord, get involved. It's a great way to help out the community, and you know, your time is very valuable. And if you're willing to donate that, it does mean a lot. With that, thank you all very much for hanging out. It's been a blast. We will see you next time.